What's up, everyone? My name is Patricia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to discuss some of the things that they don't actually really tell you until you're in there, and then you just have to learn that it's a man's world largely, and it's sad that we still get to have these conversations, or we still get to have such experiences, but it is what it is. I think everything is improving and everything is getting better, but we have to acknowledge that there are certain things that are still not even, and I want to discuss some of those. So what are some of the things you're not told as a woman as you go through the ranks into leadership positions? So I'll just refer to my phone. The first one that I'm not very surprised, because I saw a lot of this even growing up, is the fact that you will always be expected to be perfect as a woman. And so men can get away with anything. You cannot get away with anything. And that is why you see a difference in how men are treated, even in the political cycles, and the way women are treated. So I always like to point back to Anne Waiguru. The way her life was just put up for everyone to see. Her weaknesses, who she sleeps with, who she has an affair with, everything. Like, it had nothing to do with what she did, but those things were dragged. When a female is vying for any position, you would always see it's not always different in the leadership space, where you are definitely judged a little bit harshly when you're a woman and when you do things. So so I don't want to say it ours, but like when you are involved in, let's say, a scandal or a corruption or something, they will always want to overemphasize the fact that you're a woman and you have done it, and they will drag you for it. And that doesn't always happen for women. But on a personal level, is I have seen me being sort of put in this space where I constantly have to prove myself. So when I have my colleagues, for example, there was this time that I had someone else standing for me for a while, and a lot of times it was easier for him to be able to navigate some of the things that are not very easy. And there's of course a lot of expectations, but I think there's also that desire for women to be perfect. And so men are easily, what a man does is there's always a good adjective to describe it. So a man is an assertive, for example, but you're arrogant, and that's just it. Like, you don't have to speak your mind, like speaking too loudly, you're speaking too fast, who do you think you are? And so I see that double standard a lot. So there's a lot of double standard, and men will definitely get away with things that you will not get away with. The other thing is people project their insecurities on you. So a lot of times, because they cannot do it, you're not supposed to be doing it. And it's the subtle things that people do it, and they actually really wait for your downfall. They're always just waiting for something to happen so that it goes all off. And I've seen that a lot with me and with other people within this space. And the fact that you always have to put your guard up, because someone is waiting for you to fall. Someone is always waiting for your downfall. They might even be in a cocoon planning for something to happen or for you to fall. And my case is, I have been in spaces where I have been a leader even before STADA, which I now actively lead. And one of the things that I saw happen a lot is people are very comfortable with leadership from women who are more of pick-me's and more of talk slowly, quietly, be calm, be kind. Like they are more comfortable with leadership where when you're in a room and you're the lady in the room, you're okay with serving people tea. And for people like like me who are loud, I am extremely loud, and I am very expressive, and will not just sit down and watch something go away with something that is completely off. There is that thing where that kind of leadership from a woman is not actually really appreciated. So there's always a gravitation towards women who are a bit subtle and who are not out there as much and who will not speak up their minds and all that. So that kind of leadership is comfortable. The other kind of leadership where you are just sort of just maintaining everything and just expressing your personality throughout the leadership role is not actually really encouraged. So people will actually sit down and plan for your downfall. And I have seen it along the way where people sit down and start hating you for nothing and picking up lies and cooking up stories so that they just find, so they already hate you. What they're actually really looking for is the reason why they hate you. So it is not, the hate is not driven by the reason. The hate is driven by the fact that we just hate you, but now we want to find reasons why. And so they can concoct all lies and all that, and you have to live by it. So I have seen that a lot. So people will project their insecurities on you. The third thing is it's extremely lonely. And I will tackle this in two ways. It's always lonely at the top. But one of the other things that there is because there's a lot of applause and because there's so many people who like to identify with you, there's a lot of fake people around you. And part of what I have learned, and part of what I believe every leader, and this is not just for women, I think maybe it applies also to men, but I think it applies more to women because we are naturally very emotional, not emotional per se, but we are sort of, it is very easy to appeal to our hearts. People tend to take advantage of that. And so when you get at the top, there are two types of people. There are people who are gravitated towards you just because they would have anyway, even if you're not there. Then there are people who come because there's something that they want to benefit from. There's a benefit that they attach to being close to you. And I think most of the time, if you're not careful, you might surround yourself with a crowd that will never really stick. And that's why you find that when politicians get out of office, they fall into depression and they are stressed and all this because they were used to a crowd. I'm not talking about that kind of a crowd because that crowd can give you false sense of security. It is lonely in terms of you have to be able to recognize that not very many people around you are actually with you, and there are conversations that you cannot have with the people around you because they don't get it. And as you move up, people don't get it. People don't get your journey. People don't get your struggles. People don't get your challenges. Like, I mean, you have all this, why are you still sad? People don't actually understand the kind of stress that it brings. And so there's very few people that you can relate with as you go up, and that brings the loneliness. The other part is because you're being pulled on in so many different dimensions, and I don't believe that you can always have it all. I believe that at different times, different things happen, and so you might not have it all at the same time, but like it's in portions and all that. And so because of that, there's that loneliness part that also comes with it. So that's the two ways that I would tackle the topic of lonely. And so you have to be able to be aware that the people around you might not actually 100% be with you, and that's okay. And don't treat everyone that is coming around you as someone who is an ally. And so many people will not relate to your struggles. Then you have people who will like to hate you for absolutely nothing. Like, they are just really mad at you, and I don't actually also even ever call them haters. I think it's just projection. And I said it earlier, but I would say that you have to be very careful about who you invite into the spaces, because a lot of the times there are people who come because there's something that they want to benefit off of it. But also the hate really comes from the fact that you're doing something that I wish I would have done, but because I can't do it, I don't have the courage to do it, I don't have the ability to do it, or I all these things, then all of a sudden you are not a good person, you're someone to be hated, you're someone to be scorned at. And so there is those as well. And so you don't really from my perspective, I feel that you don't need to be able to take some of these things personally, because a lot of these people actually don't even actually know the reason why they hate you. Like, it's actually just seeing someone doing something that they always want to do, and that automatically attracts hate. And finally is that when you get to a certain point, there has to be some level of clarity of mind and of thought, and it needs to come from a place of, I am doing this, what is the reason for me doing this? And a lot of times that doesn't come out clearly. And so what happens is, because you don't know your why, you can always be tossed left, right, center. And my advice, and one of the things that I have learned, and this is just a bonus, it was not part of this video, is that one of the things that you need to do very clearly is you need to be able to not be led by emotions. And it's in this sense that when people applaud you, then you gravitate towards their applause. If people are not for you, then you sort of you don't want to really associate and to be with them in that sense, because a lot of times the higher you go, the more times that people will applaud you for nothing, and then there's also people who will always criticize you. So be numb to criticism, be numb to applause, do the right thing whether someone is watching or not, and just stay on the straight and narrow. Don't ever live a life looking at who is clapping and I need for them to clap more, because when you get to that level, the exhaustion of that, and for the people pleasing nature that I think most of us have, is something that would be able to completely take you out, because there will be times people will not applaud, but you will be doing the right thing. There are times people will criticize you while you're doing the right thing. If you're led by these emotions, then you will never get there. And this is my advice for people who have an imposter syndrome like I do. I believe that one of the things that I have learned along this journey is to be able to just lean into yourself and to be able to bring that self out and not be influenced a lot by the external forces. So that's it. If you have anything that you want me to clarify, any specific point that wasn't clear, please comment down. I would like to engage with you, and this is a conversation that I would like to have with a number of other people and see whether it resonates with them as well. So if you'd like us to be able to have this conversation with you, please comment down below, and we'll be reaching out to you to have this conversation. But it's something that I'm definitely willing to expand so that you get to hear from other people as well, because it's important to be able to keep on sharing our experiences, just not for us but also for the people that will come after us. So thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, all that good stuff, and I can